Hi, I'm Traci.
And I'm Leena.
And we love healing children.
In fact, we're the co-owners and founders of Healing Children, LLC.
And this is our podcast, The Bumpy Road to Healing, where we get real about what children need emotionally.
And how best to support them.
We skip the fluff.
And get right to the heart of it. So we're going to be talking about...
Hi, ladies.
Hey, Esther, what's going on?
Oh, just nothing. I just wanted to just come see what the two of you are doing.
Well, we're going to be doing a podcast about...
Do you know what I did last night?
Oh, well, you're kind of interrupting.
Okay, well, actually, it wasn't last night, but I was telling my friends all about it last night. But last weekend, I met Beyonce. Oh my gosh, she is just as amazing in person as you would think that she is.
Esther,
yes.
There's a couple things you're doing right now that are a little concerning.
What? I was just trying to tell you about this awesome thing that happened to me.
Esther?
What?
Well, the first thing is she's kind of interrupting us.
I know.
And not listening.
And that's kind of the test we're going to be talking about in our podcast.
The kids kind of do to us to see like how strong.
I feel like the two of you are like
Esther.
If you're going to be here, you're going to have to listen. Otherwise, you're going to have to go.
Yeah. And one of those tests is like, is this adult strong enough to
set a boundary?
Or are they so weak they're going to let me interrupt? The other thing she did. It's a total lie.
She sure did.
Yep.
And if we believe that lie, then she's going to see like, oh, I can manipulate the adults. And that means that if somebody comes around that could hurt me, they won't know how to protect me. And that's not good.
That's not good, Esther.
So we got to work on that. So we're talking about how kids test adults. And I think you might want to listen a little to it. It might help you behave a little better.
Yeah. Because Esther, we are very strong adults and we can take care of you. So we're going to make sure that that we pass your tests so that you can trust us and that you can learn and grow and mature.
Okay. What do you think? You can talk now.
Well, first, I really didn't like it when you talked about me like I wasn't here.
I know.
But I hear you and I want to listen to your podcast.
Okay. Well, you handled that really well.
Thank you.
I know that was hard.
Okay. And I didn't meet Beyonce, but I did watch a really cool video.
Yep. That sounds more like the truth. That does. That's the way to do it. That is the way to be honest.
Can I show it to you after I listen to your podcast?
You know what? When we're all done working and you're done with all your chores, that would be awesome.
Okay.
Today, we want to kind of talk about how kids will test us and why they would test us. And what does that really mean that they're testing us? It's kind of weird, but I think maybe starting with like we as adults, kind of do it in ways too, where we're trying to make sure that the person that we're interacting with is a safe person or somebody that we can trust.
Yeah. We're trying to figure out what are they about because people can say whatever they want to say. And that doesn't mean that they're being authentic in what they're telling us. And so sometimes kids are going to be testing their teacher or their counselor or different people to see, are you who you say you are? Are you an authentic, genuine person? And do you say what you mean? Do you mean what you say? And can I trust you?
Yes.
Because we don't want to be bonding and connecting to someone that is not trustworthy. But we are looking to see, like, I don't want to be bonding to someone who's not a good person or who isn't transparent.
No.
So, but people are also testing to see if you are what they want you to be too. Like, I think it happens with dating all the time.
Yeah. So if they're not healthy, they're trying to figure out,
are you unhealthy too? Or if you're healthy, you're trying to figure out, are you also healthy? We're trying to figure people out a little bit.
And well, that's where some of the grooming comes in too. Where people will like come in and kind of groom to see like, how far can I go with you? Will you accept this type of comment? Will you accept this type of behavior? And if you will, then I'll keep going. And if you won't, then I'm going to move on to somebody else.
Right.
But then also, if you're a healthy person, you do that back and forth with people to figure out, okay, I'm going to share this a little bit. Can I trust it? Oh, they were trustworthy with that. Then I can share more to see, are you somebody that I want to be friends with, that I want to be associated with, because you're healthy and you're safe.
And you're safe. Are we on the same page? Are we not?
But then what you see with kids that have had severe trauma or emotional issues, and they've had people who've really kind of not been healthy, not been safe, not protected them, those kids are going to come in to any adult to figure out, is this adult a safe person? Do I need to actually be in charge? Because I've got to be in charge to keep myself safe. And so I don't want to let other adults be in charge.
Their brain's kind of gotten wired to that. So if you think of like a kid with an attachment issue, okay, where their needs were not met to the point where they quit trying, their brain has kind of gotten wired to, I have to take care of myself.
Yes.
Because I was supposed to be taken care of and I was not. So I can't trust adults because adults don't take care of kids.
Yeah.
And so this is a complicated one.
Well, and I think what happens too, anytime they meet somebody new,
They have to figure that out.
They've got to figure out and test them to figure out, is this person strong enough to keep me safe? Can this person handle me? Because if they can't handle me, then they can't keep me safe. So just like Esther did at the beginning of the podcast, she interrupted us. She told a lie to us. If we allowed her to interrupt us, if we allowed her to lie to us and believed her lies, or even pretended to believe her lies, the message she's going to get is, this is two weak people. So therefore they are not safe. They cannot keep me safe.
Well, they're not going to stand up to anything because if they're so worried about my self-esteem, that they're going to believe some cockamamie lie, then they're not going to be able to stand up to someone that could hurt me.
No. And if I can manipulate them, then I don't necessarily, I'm not going to respect them either.
No.
And then I'm not going to bond to them. And I'm not going to take on their morals and values, and I'm not going to mature and grow. And so if kids put us through this test and we fail it, those kids with significant emotional and behavioral problems will not get better.
Because that passing those tests, I think, is a part of bonding too.
Because when we pass that test, then they see us as a strong person, and they actually are bonding with us through that.
And we see them as a safe person.
And so if I have a kid come in and they're constantly interrupting me and I'm allowing it, I'm not a strong person.
No. So, yeah, you're kind of trying to fill that person out a little bit to see what kind of a relationship you're going to have.
Yes. And so kids are going to do that with us to see, and they do that with substitute teachers. Like they might figure out the teacher, and then a sub comes in, and then the whole class or these, particular kids will test that substitute teacher to figure out if that teacher is a strong adult and a safe adult. And so part of the reason we have to pass those tests is it helps, not only does it help the kid feel safe, when they feel safe and they're following rules and directions and bonding with other people, they develop their maturity and they develop conscious development, as we talked about in previous podcasts. But like you said, who wants to bond to a weak person?
Nobody does.
And who respects somebody they can manipulate?
Nobody does.
And so some of the things that kids do to test us are maybe they refuse to do anything you ask them to do. So if they misbehave, you tell them to move their clip or whatever your classroom management is, they sit there.
And they wait.
And they wait to see what you're going to do, how you're going to handle it.
They will try maybe lying to us like Esther did. They might try stealing from us to see what we'll do.
Yeah. Are you going to catch them, or are they going to get away with it?
What are you going to do? Do you care so much about being liked, or do you care more about doing what you're supposed to as the educator? And that's what they're really trying to figure out. And kids have a hard time respecting a teacher, principal, counselor, psychologist that they can manipulate.
And if they feel like you care more about being liked, which is what I see sometimes with some people, they're like, oh, this kid's had so much trauma. They allow the kid to get away with poor behavior because they feel sorry for them and they feel like that's the way to bond with them and build a relationship, and not understand that they're actually having the opposite impact on that child.
The kid is probably viewing them, and they may not even be aware, as weak. And if the abuser were to return back, the kid is not going to feel safe. That educator, that person is going to be able to defend them and take care of them.
Yes.
It's a really important thing to understand. And if you have kids who've been abused, and let's say they've been abused and the abuser has never been prosecuted, nothing has ever happened to that abuser, that is a very, that makes the world seem incredibly unsafe and unfair.
Because not only can they not trust the abuser, they can't trust other adults to take care of them because they're not taking care of the abuser.
Right. So it just creates a real feeling of insecurity for that child.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that, so we don't allow them to misbehave with us.
No.
Because that's not going to help them see, hey, the world, there are safe people in the world. There are unsafe people in the world, but there are also safe people. And they're having to figure out who is safe and who isn't. We're all trying to figure those things out.
Yeah.
And so it's looking at being an authentic person, and being an authentic educator is setting limits and boundaries around behavior, around interrupting, lying, stealing, without losing our cool, without doing a lot of lecturing, yelling, and shaming. It's really just that following through with boundaries and consequences, or even just calling out the behavior for what it is too, can sometimes be enough to set that boundary.
Exactly. And you can do all that with compassion and empathy and acceptance and encouragement, and have that healing occur. But without it,
it's really tough, because if you don't respect that adult, you're never going to feel safe enough to talk about your sadness, your hurt, your feelings, or things that have happened.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, it's so complicated, because when you think about it, it's like, I'm getting held accountable to my behavior, and that's what makes me trust you. But the person who hurt me never was held accountable. But if they feel like there's no accountability anywhere, then it feels totally chaotic.
It does. And then you feel like you have to, you can't trust anybody. So you have to make sure you're safe.
Yeah.
And then you're not having those relationships, you're not having the bonding, and then you're engaging in really poor behavior to keep yourself safe.
Kids do really well with honesty. They do really well with it. That's been my experience.
Yeah.
They accept it, they handle it, they respect it, they need it. We all do. It helps us
it helps us grow and mature, and it's not always easy or pleasant, but
it helps us mature. Yeah, we can't mature without it.
Yeah. There is safety in that honesty. I think we have too much lack of honesty, lack of transparency, manipulative behavior kind of in society as a whole, that makes all of us struggle with connecting with our community. And when we're not connecting with our community, we start to engage in not really healthy behaviors.
Right.
And so what we want for kids is we want kids to have the accountability for really unhealthy coping skills, so they can develop healthy coping skills.
Yeah.
So that they can mature, so they can feel safe, they can mature, they can grow, they can develop a conscience, and then they can help make the world a better place.
Yeah.
That was a lot to sort of take in about myself.
So do you agree with it? Disagree? What do you think?
I think I agree. It's really hard to agree. Like, it's hard to see that, I don't know, is like that I've been so affected by my life, but, and then I'm lying. Like, I don't know. I'm really sorry. I lied to you too.
I know. Well, and you know what, Esther, I think when we start to recognize behavior patterns that we've learned when we have gone through a terrible experience, then we can start changing it. And then we can start understanding it.
I mean, really, I just didn't even really know I was lying, and now I just feel really, really bad.
Well, I don't want you to get all torn up about it. You know what I mean? Like, we all make mistakes, okay?
Yeah.
And so we have to learn to forgive ourselves.
Okay.
You know, we learn to forgive ourselves, and we treat it as a learning experience, and then we move forward being better. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes perfect sense. And I can be better.
Yes, you can.
It's going to help you become the amazing fashion designer that you've always wanted to be.
You remember?
Of course I remember. I cannot wait for you to design some of my clothes.
I have so many good ideas for you. Oh my gosh, I should go get my notebook and show you.
Oh yes,
Go
let's
do
go
it right now.
that.
Okay, I'm
If you like
going.
what you're hearing and you want to learn more, you can go to our website at www.healingchildrenllc.org.
On our website, you can read more about who we are.
You can look at our online trainings.
You can also look at our blogs on a variety of topics.
You can see our most new and up-to-date podcasts.
You can also engage with us in a variety of ways,
such as liking us or following us on social media.
You can even hire us to come in.
Or you could email us or call us.
Exactly. Make sure that you sign up for our email list so that you can get the latest information about what we have to offer, including live trainings in your area.
Yes, so let the healing begin.
Thank you for joining our podcast, The Bumpy Road to Healing.
The Bumpy Road to Healing is sponsored by Healing Children, LLC. We are both educators and mental health professionals, which gives us a unique perspective on working with children both in and out of the school setting who have severe emotional and behavioral concerns.
Our mission is for all children to be emotionally healthy, happy, mature, and responsible. As adults establish healthy relationships and appropriate boundaries, we believe that children are more likely to grow and prosper.
When adults understand the impact of trauma, entitlement, disruptive attachment, and child development, including conscious development, they can better create healing environments for children.
To learn more about us and what we have to offer, go to www.healingchildrenllc.org.